CLB.
What up, world? It's your boy Chuck Wick, ill, aka Charles Brown, back again with another review. But first, I want to ask you a question. Are you good? Good. All right, man. I know it's been a minute since your boy done a review. It's been quite some time. This has been a crazy year. But I have returned, and this time we're going to talk about your boy, Jay Electronica's, I don't want to say debut album. I don't know what to call it. The follow-up, the prequel, but Act 2, Patents of Nobility, I believe it's called. I believe that's the album title. So I got a lot to say about what's going on. Let me just start like this, right? I killed the first album. The surprise drop, the first album that we got about 8-9 months ago, the one with Jay all over it. It had potential. It had a lot of hype, and it had a lot of good rhymes on there. Like a lot of good rhymes. I had a lot to say about the album, but I did not. Overall, when I finished my review, I think I went so far as to give it something like a D because of the shortness and the amount of verses that we did not get for an album that took 10 years to complete. I also was upset with the sound quality. I believe some of that stuff, I had an issue with the mix down, and I also was upset with how many verses. I wouldn't say upset, but Jay was all over it, and this is supposed to be his thing, which is I rock with Jay, so I was rocking with the verses. I think I had a big issue with his lack of desire on the album. I think I had an issue with, for him to be at the level he's at on the label, with the label he's on, with the resources he has at his disposal, the amount of people working at Rock Nation that can put the battery in the back of any project. I had an issue with the overall feel of the project. It felt rushed, in my opinion. It felt uninspired. Now, I fast forward. It's 8 months later. We got a surprise album. I want to say, because I'm late on this review, so we got a surprise album about a month ago, right? A lot has transpired in that month that we received that album, Act 2. First of all, it was a leak. It was surprise leaked. It hit the internet. I found out about it quite differently than the way I found out about the first album. The first album, he put up a live YouTube session. I think Puffy was in there, all these different people. They're celebrating, drinking wine, whatever they're doing, and I don't know what they were doing, but they were in the studio playing tracks from it. They played a couple tracks. It just was super hype. And when it came out, it was 50-50. A lot of people loved it, a lot of people hated it. With this one, I think it just, someone got a hard drive some kind of way and leaked it. And the internet, when it started trending, unbeknownst to anyone, it just started trending because the leak was out. Everybody's like, oh, snap, this is awesome, blah, blah. So I went and I couldn't find it at first. And then Jay Elect puts a tweet out, we're working on sample clearances, guys, be patient with us. So basically telling us that they were going to put it on Tidal. The full leak of the 10-year-old project that we were waiting for. They were going to officially put it on Tidal, and we were going to get to experience that in a digital way, experience it professionally, not with leaks on YouTube and all this patchwork stuff we were getting. And some people were sending me links, like I put on my Facebook, like, yo, how do I hear it? Some people put some links. I went and listened. But I knew it was coming to Tidal, so I was like, I'm not going to listen to this whole thing on YouTube. Put it on Tidal. I listened to it. I went in with the understanding that it was a leak. It was 10 years old, and that it was not approved per se by Jay. I don't know who leaked it or how it got leaked. Or supposedly it was found and discovered and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going to say all of that to say, I got a lot to say about this, so just bear with me. this album is a masterpiece. You understand what I'm telling you? So what I'm going to say is, it's like it's like catching Van Gogh in his prime, where he's at the best he's ever been, and he painted a whole bunch of paintings, and he just locked them in a vault. And then someone found them paintings years later, after Van Gogh became whatever else, he transformed into something else. And it's not, the art was, the hunger wasn't there, and now you just got a guy living off something that could have happened 10 years ago. This album, flaws and all, the mix down, the repetitive little kids, yay, all that. From the very first track of this album to the end, it was a completely different feel from the album that was previously dropped, that he was supposedly promoting. The album that this guy did 10 years ago and locked away for whatever reason was pure. You understand what I'm saying? This is a masterpiece. Night and day of what we heard. The forced, contrived, I'm trying to recreate what I know I did 10 years ago. The guy on this album, the Act 2 album, different animal. Something was different. He hadn't had the taste of Hollywood yet. He hadn't had the, they were bidding, and he knew Puffy and all this stuff by then, but it hadn't touched him yet. It hadn't affected his lifestyle yet. I don't think he was living rich and lavish yet. I think he was a guy that just came off the bricks, off the street, just feeling his way around, just amazed to even be around Jay-Z. Just, he got Hove in his corner. You know what I'm saying? They're good right now. And I think the guy was way more centered. He had a lot more to say because he hadn't lived these Hollywood, these lifestyles of the rich and famous. He hadn't lived that yet. So he had a lot more to say. He had a lot more. There was much more detail. There was much more scripture, for lack of a better word. There was much more substance, and it was way more freer. It just felt like it's when you do basement sessions and you don't care who likes it. You're doing it because you want to do it. And this is your heart. I listened to that album. I was like, this is magic, bro. And he could not have recreated that if he wanted to. There was no way to, he could have went and some of this stuff sounds like this dude's soul is crying on the music. You understand? Like, it's super free. He's singing. He's rapping. He raps when he wants. He doesn't rap. He lets the music. It's night and day from the other one. It's stories. It's a little bit of everything. It's more. It has where he's flossing on you a little bit, stunting on you a little. It's rapper stuff. It's project stuff. It's hood stuff. It's if you put a great mind in the hood and left him there. What would he see? What would he write? What would he do? What would he say? That's what we're getting from this Act 2. Right? I say all that to say, I'm glad I didn't review this when it first dropped like I wanted to, because certain things have transpired. Number one, the album has been nominated for a Grammy, Best Album of the Year. Right? They nominated this album for a Grammy, along with, and this is the first year the Grammys got it right. They got D Smoke, they got Royce da 5'9", Jay Electronica. Who else? Was it Benny? I think Benny the Butcher and Nas. I believe Benny the Butcher is on there. I could be. No, not Benny. I'm bugging. Freddie. Why did I say Benny? I don't know. Freddie. So it's Freddie, Nas, J.E., D Smoke, and this guy. So all of these albums are classic, right? And or near classic. Let's say that. I think I reviewed half of those albums on the Grammys. This before they was nominated for Grammys. I gave them all good reviews. I think, except for D Smoke. I didn't listen to that. I think every album on that thing I said was either an A or more. And they nominated all the albums that I already felt was great albums in the first place. Now, I didn't get to review this one, so the funny thing is, I want to tell you a funny thing. I went back in today to refresh my memory. I was going to go song for song for you. It's gone. They took the album down off Tidal. They not only took it off Tidal, it's off the internet. It's off YouTube. I'm sure somebody got it in a Mediafire link somewhere that you can click and still listen to. They probably saved it because they knew something crazy was going to happen. They took the album down, bro. Album is off of Tidal. I don't think it's on iTunes. I don't know where the album's at. So I can't go song for song with you because I don't have the album anymore. I didn't save it. I didn't store it away. I didn't lock it away. I didn't download it and put it on my phone. I didn't do none of that. So I have no way of telling you what the album sounds like anymore. I don't know. I can't go song for song. I'm going off memories like Bonnie and Clyde and all this Real Magic and all this stuff. What's in my memory bank, that this album was an instant, like, and the reason it's an instant classic to me, because all of the flaws made it beautiful. Whereas the flaws on the one that they've released publicly, they were ugly flaws. They were like, you couldn't get it because you didn't understand what it was supposed to be in the first place. With this one, you got it. When you heard, it was basement mixdowns. Like I said, it was stuff that pours out of you that you can't control, and you're putting it in a spiritual way onto wax, and that's what he did with this album. I can't even hear it anymore. I don't know if he got emotional with the reviews of it and was like, you know what? Because I know Melon and a couple other people gave it whatever reviews. Had I came out, I would have gave this thing classic, right? I don't know why they took it down. I don't know why they removed it from all stream. They took it all off YouTube. Every link is gone. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But I don't think I'm wrong. I went and searched for this. It ain't hard. You just search on Google, whatever's done. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he got moody and took it down. I don't know if a sample wasn't cleared. It could be that a sample wasn't cleared. It could be any reason, but I don't know why it's gone. Now, I want to say this. You got nominated for a Grammy, but your album's removed. How is that going to work? Right? How can you receive the Grammy if no one can hear the album anymore? What are we going to award, a ghost project? So I don't know how that's going to work, but I think that J.E. is so he's artistic and he's moody, and I don't know, like, again, I don't know why he took it down. If I had to guess, I would say he took it down. Maybe he didn't like what was being said. Maybe he thought unfinished work shouldn't be up. Maybe it was only meant for you to hear it for a little bit and then I'm gonna take it down. I don't know. But at the end of the day, they took the album down. And then it got nominated for a Grammy. So I don't know what's going on. But total redemption story, in my opinion, and I know you're gonna be like, but dog, everything you hated on the first album, it was very similar to this. Ugly mix downs and beats missing, and Shiny Suit Theory was still on there, you know what I'm saying? Which I don't like. But it was much more, the canvas worked better. For what he did, I think it was contrived when he did it with Jay. What he did on that act 2 was not contrived. He wasn't like, I'm going to look for this. I'm going to recreate the lo-fi half mixed sound. You're not doing that in these multi-million-dollar studios. There's no reason for a lo-fi half mixed down sound when you got $1 billion budget because Jay-Z's the damn executive producer. There's no reason for that. I don't want to hear that. You shouldn't have no half mixed and choppy, cloudy sound. It shouldn't be like that. But the other one is 10 years ago. So we're putting that at what? 09? 08, 09, recorded between 07 and 09, we're going to say. That's a different beast. The stuff going to sound different. It's a different world. Even the stuff that's popular today wouldn't even thought of back then. So it was a different vibe back then. You know what I'm saying? So you cannot recreate that. You're not going to be able to recreate that. You're not going to be able to, all right, boom, let me go in the studio. I'm going to listen to Act 2 a couple times and they're just going to recreate that and everybody going to love it. No. You're supposed to do what you feel right now. So, Graded on the Curb, that's a 2009 project. And it sounds amazing to me. It was beautiful. All this crazy, like Bonnie and Clyde. That stuff was hilarious. I thought it was dope. It was like a guy that did not care. And I analyzed, I'm like, I see why he didn't put this out. I think he overthought it. And I think had he really had put that out, this guy would be considered one of the greatest MCs in history. Wouldn't have had to do nothing there for 10 years. Because that album is so creatively superior to a lot of other things that it would have received, they would have finessed it and put the, extra little touches on it. And I think he just gave up almost finished with the joint. He just quit on it. But they would have finished it, took out, some of the, where the mic is too hot and it's too loud. They would have fixed all that and then put it out. But I think the dude he just so artistic that it was never going to be good enough to release. Never. So then he waited 10 years, got in a position where I've been signed for 10 years. Hove telling me put something out. And then he got in a position of now he forced to put something out. Let me throw Jay-Z on every song. And let me just try to make it sound like I did it 10 years ago. It didn't work. This album deserves that Grammy if it gets it. You know what I'm saying? Just like Nas does. Even Royce deserves it. So it's like it deserves the accolades that it's receiving right now. The problem with it is it's first of all, it's removed from the services. And also, again, I don't think he did the rollout with this one, which it was not supposed to be a rollout, it's a leak. I get it. But once you tweeted, oh, I'm going to be fixing the sample, we're going to get you're in, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're in now. You've committed to putting this album out. Now work it. I get it that it's going to be weird. You rapping to stuff that's 10 years ago. Don't rap to it then. Just make the videos like Jay does with all these different pieces. Jay's never in this video. Jay ain't been in a music video in God knows how long. I don't think Jay is physically in a music video since Niggas in Paris, like Watch the Thrones or something. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Jay don't be appearing in these videos no more. So you could have made videos for these songs. You could have made 4-5 videos for these songs and they ain't had to be in none of them. Or you could have been in them not rapping at all, just praying, anything. Did not push the album. Did the complete opposite and took it down. Right? For whatever. I'm gonna go online and see if I can figure out what happened with the why it was pulled or what have you. A tortured soul, man. I just see this guy as a tortured soul. He was and is a musical genius, in my opinion, as far as verbally, what he says with a mic. And the stuff that he picks to rap to is very, very eclectic, which fits his style perfectly. You know what I'm saying? And I think if you just put him on regular beats, he's going to murder regular beats. You know what I'm saying? He's going to just knowing how to rap, he's going to murder a regular beat. But he's not regular, and he doesn't do anything regular, apparently. So we're never going to get this, let's give him all of these beats from Hit Boy and all this stuff. He's not going to be doing all that, which he should if he want to be considered, taken seriously in the rap game. But I think that this guy is a tortured soul who I don't think we're ever going to get new music. If we get new music from him, I don't know what it's going to sound like, to be honest with you. He could go either way. He could go, I'm going to go for the bag and just make hard-ass music that everybody's dancing to. He could go that way. Or he can go to, I'm going to do this tortured soul thing, which is going to continue to do 20,000 units on the first week. Little stuff like that. Where rappers with SoundCloud rappers half a buzz is doing double of a guy of this stature signed to this kind of label doing 20,000 units first week. That's not how that should be. Even with the project that he had. My thing is, if you're gonna put it out, you got Jay all over it, you got the machine behind you, then let's go. He could have pushed that album for 2 weeks, a month, led with a single, did a video, him and Jay in the video, 3 weeks, dropped the album, it would have did numbers. You know what I'm saying? Do it. Like this is my thing with the older rappers. Do it. Nothing's changed. It's still the same. You still give people a month and you put out a dope record and you work it for a month and you do the interviews and you do the circuit, you play the game, you're going to do 100,000 copies. It did 20 copies because nobody knew it was coming. Randomly dropped it, and as fast as it came, it went because you didn't push it. It don't matter what I thought of it personally. You know what I'm saying? If you make a video, I'm going to watch it. You drop a single, I'm going to listen to it. So it's not about me. It's about they're putting their money and their faith behind you to reap dividends, right? I get it, you're a tortured artist and all this and that, but don't waste people's time with you're going to put out an album, but you're going to step back and watch what happens and then let the internet praise it or tear it apart, one or the other. I'm going to need, this is my thing, with the older artists, like, we just saw what Busta did. Busta didn't play around. Busta made an album. I think Busta dropped a video every Friday for this album. You know what I'm saying? Like every Friday, he got another new Busta Rhymes video. He know that this is his time. It's not going to be where Busta going to drop another album and it's going to have this kind of buzz. It's not. I don't care how dope it sounds. Whatever Busta does next is going to be very, very hard to accomplish the buzz he has right now. This is Busta's second chance at being where he was 10 years ago or later or more. And he knows it. These things are sparks in time. They're moments in the sky. Like, you get it, and it's there for a moment, and then it's going to phase out. When he dropped that album, not this album, the one before, when he dropped that album, everyone was ready to hear it. Like it or not, he could have made that album work. He could have dropped 3 videos off that album. You know what I'm saying? He could have toured before. I think this was before Corona, because this was like 8 months ago. You know what I'm saying? He could have done a little promo something. Done a couple interviews. Look at what Cube did. When Cube wanted his message out, this dude did 50 interviews. He was doing interviews with dudes in their basement. Calling in on, yeah, how you doing, bro? Like, yeah, I just want to say, you know, I ain't rocking with Trump. He was everywhere. He did it. Who else did it? I think Royce was everywhere when he was promoting his. Nas was everywhere. Everywhere when he was promoting his. J.E. could have did the same thing. He could have got the same amount of attention. It's a lot of young cats. I know they want to say the young cats don't want to hear it, but they do. If you feed it to them, they're going to gravitate to it. How do you think Run the Jewels is making so much money out here? My problem with the older artists, they too finicky. They want it all. They want it to be like it was when they were popping. They want that, but they don't want to work for it. And the ones that work for it get it. Nas still dropping. He's still working that album. I think that album like 2 months old. He's still working the album. He put out the joint with Ferg and all that. He's still working it. Even the songs that people say, I ain't like that. He put a video out for that. The song, because he knew that was the song that was going to pop for the younger generation. He's doing what he got to do. And I see it. It's certain guys that don't got to work as hard for it. Right? Like Jay-Z don't got to work as hard for it, but he falls back, but then he comes back with a classic album. And then he put 444 in Times Square and everywhere else without telling you what it was. It drummed up a buzz. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to need, like, it's like when I did the KRS-One review probably 3 years ago. And I was a little upset with how he rolled it out because you couldn't find the album nowhere but on Bandcamp or something. You couldn't find it nowhere. It was on one. It was on one link, and it was on his website, and you can't hear the album nowhere else. And I was like, why, bro? Like, people want this album, but no one wants to be clicking links on your website. No one can find it. You gotta pay $10 to just keep coming back to the website. I didn't like that, and this is the kind of stuff that these older cats are doing, right? I think that they feel like the game has advanced. It ain't advanced that much, bro. You make an album, throw it up. You click in one link, it's going to all the websites, all of the apps, all of the streaming services. That part, that's the easy part. Releasing the music right now is the easy part. I can make a song right now, put the mix down, save it to my computer, upload it in the same hour, and the thing will be in the entire world in a day or two. Right? In a day, probably the same day, next day, it's everywhere. iTunes, the releasing of music is the easy part. The hard part is what you're going to do to get people to listen to it. And I don't think they're doing enough. Jay E didn't do enough to get this album listened to. A couple more people I'm going to talk about. So I'm promising you 5 reviews in the next 2 days. And one of them is going to be Goody Mob. And without getting too much into it, I didn't know Goody Mob was out till a humble, right? The older cats not promoting right. They're not doing something right. And we got to figure out what they're going to have to do. But about this album, if I hear it again someday in my lifetime, I'll let you know again that this is a dope album. It deserves a stamp of classic, in my opinion, right? Because it's so good. Yeah, it does have a couple, maybe 1 or 2 joints that you're like, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is going too far. But it's pure, and that's what I like about it. I think if you ever get a chance to listen to it again, I think you need to hold it, like download it, so you can't take it from you again. It's probably, if you do hear it again, it probably has some samples missing, but it is what it is. So I'm going to give this album an A with the, I can't even say. I'm gonna give it four pluses because you can't hear it nowhere. They took it down, so I don't even think it's fair to give it a classic stamp. But as far as the mood that he set and the tone that he took it to, this album is dope. It's a classic, and I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna catch y'all on the flip side, man. Let me know what you think. Follow, subscribe, like, comment, share, and all that good stuff like that. There. Peace.